German Chancellor Angela Merkel's new centre-right coalition is sworn in after her election victory last month. Radical reform of the UK's MPs' expenses system is met with mixed reviews. And the EU approves plans for splitting the nationalised British bank, Northern Rock. Hello and welcome to Inside Europe, broadcasting from London with me, Lauren Ganias. German Chancellor Angela Merkel has been sworn in for a second term, a month after her party won the national elections. Merkel is the new chancellor of a centre-right coalition formed of her Christian Democratic Party and the pro-business Free Democrats. Press TV correspondent Stefan Herrmann reports.
I swear that I will dedicate my efforts to the well-being of the German people, so help me God. Angela Merkel gave her oath to continue for another 4 years in office before she had been re-elected as Chancellor by the 17th German Parliament by secret ballot. With a majority of 323 votes, she received 9 votes less than the number of her new coalition seats in Parliament.
The Chancellor has been elected for a second term. This is a super success and a great result. As elections are secret, it's useless to speculate about the result.
The opposition clearly saw the missing votes as a sign of weakness of the new government and strongly criticized Merkel for not giving a government declaration as she is heading for numerous meetings abroad.
We expect the Chancellor to explain to the German public where the country is heading before leaving to speak at the US Congress about German politics. It's shameful and a clear sign of arrogance.
Es ist beschämend, dass diese Gelegenheit nicht genutzt wird. Es ist ein Ausdruck von Arroganz.
Merkel is the first chancellor switching coalition partners during her time in office. Together with the Free Democratic Party, she now wants to cut taxes by 24 billion euros to stimulate economic growth, but it remains unclear where the money will be coming from, as Germany is facing a record budget deficit. Angela Merkel has been re-elected as Chancellor of Germany, but did not receive all the votes of her new coalition. Shortly after the parliamentary session, she is heading for Paris to meet with the French President Nicolas Sarkozy before attending an EU summit in Brussels and visiting the United States of America. Stefan Herrmann for Press TV in Berlin.
With us to discuss this further from Berlin is Press TV correspondent Stefan Herrmann. Hello, Stefan.
Hello.
So Merkel's the only German head of government to switch coalition partners between terms in office. Does this give her a stronger mandate for reform?
Yes, so it seems. The FDP has always been the favorite coalition partner of the Christian Democratic Union, and already 4 years ago she had campaigned for a coalition with the Free Democratic Party, but they didn't get a majority and she had to settle for a grand coalition. This was surely not something she had favored, and so now, even though during the campaign she has always stressed that they had to work well together, but that she could work better together with the FDP. This surely could mean less compromises and more reform. On the other hand, she has been always a person who's been acting very statesmanlike and is not known for hasty decisions. So, and the coalition talks as well. They continued for a week longer than expected, and it doesn't seem so easy for reform.
And the new coalition promises Germans tax cuts in an effort to kickstart the economy, despite the fact that Germany's national debt is around 1.5 trillion euros and rising. How are the opposition parties reacting?
Yeah, as for the opposition parties, the Social Democratic Party is still very much occupied with itself after the disaster at the election. But today they gave a statement after the election of Chancellor Merkel, especially criticizing that she was not giving a government declaration after the election, but was postponing it for November the 10th, so nearly 2 weeks after her election today, because of her visits to abroad. There's still a lot unclear that came out of the coalition treaty, and that is basically who's going to pay for all this money. The healthcare system is in need of reform. It's lacking it has a deficit now of 7.5 billion euros. So the question really is, where is this money coming from? There was talk about having a shadow budget up to make new debt to pay for these tax cuts. It's really still very unclear.
Okay, well, I'm afraid that's all we have time for. Thank you for that, Stefan Hermann. New details of a radical reform of the expenses system in the UK has emerged ahead of the government's official announcement due in November. The leak of Sir Christopher Kelly's review into MPs' expenses has so far received mixed reviews. Press TV's Farina Alam has this report.
New rules governing MPs' expenses will include a ban on second home allowances for parliamentarians who live within an hour's train journey to Westminster. The rest will be forced to rent rather than claim taxpayers' money to pay off the mortgage interest on their second homes. And there will be a ban on MPs employing their family members. More than 200 MPs employ relatives, and about 415 claim for mortgage payments. Some are angry about these reforms, but any resistance to change will not go down well with the public, who are furious about the scandal.
Unfortunately, due to the opacity of the current system, even many MPs who are doing a great job and aren't taking the mick are getting tarred with the same brush as the guys who are claiming for everything you can possibly imagine.
A full report on reforms to the discredited system of MPs' expenses will be out on 4th November. Some changes will come into effect immediately, while others will be phased in over the next 5 years. These reforms have been greeted with mixed reactions. For the past year, this country has almost unanimously been calling for changes. Now that they're here, some say they've gone too far. Without the ability to claim as many expenses, some fear that the politics of this country will become the preserve of the wealthy few, those who can afford to be in it. Farina Alam, Press TV, London.